We're almost ready to start with our second round table for today. So this is the last call for all of you outside the conference room to join us. So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention again? Thank you. It's now my pleasure to introduce you to an area of high potential in the economy of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Bosnia and Herzegovina wood industry is the oldest industrial branch in our country. Forests make up more than 60% of the area of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The wood industry is traditionally export-oriented. You managed to hear me so far, okay? We continue today's activities with a roundtable session named Benefiting from Wood and Furniture Industry Development. I would like to give a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Ramo Palalic. Mr. Palalic, please join me on the stage. This is Assistant Professor, International University of Sarajevo. He's moderator for today's second panel discussion. Thank you for being with us, and you'll present our great panelists for this session.
Thanks. Dear distinguished panelists, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second roundtable of the 10th Sarajevo Business Forum 2019. I'm very honored to have all of you here, and I'm very pleased to lead this session on the topic benefiting from wood and furniture industry development in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Please let me say a few words regarding the industry in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina has a long tradition in forestry, wood processing, and mining going back to the second half of the 19th century. For instance, during the First World War, Bosnia had 129 mining and processing companies. Since that time, the industry has been developing steadily. In 1992, the gross national income was 10% made of wood industry, which is around $3 billion US dollars. That corresponds to 11% of exports with 61,000 employees. That is also 13% of total number of workers in the industry of wood and furniture. Only timber sector, for example, in 2012 counted over 24,000 employees. Today, this industry is based on private enterprises, and most of them are exporting their wood products. Products that prevail in the industry are sawmills, planing mills, veneer plants, and plywood. It is important to mention that for the sustainable development of this industry, the most reliable platform is the qualified workforce, which nowadays, according to some research, this country lacks of. Probably it is an additional challenge for this industry in the very near future. In a nutshell, I would like to highlight a few words on why would someone invest in this wood and furniture industry. The first and foremost, this is natural resources potential. Over 60% of the country is covered by forest. Excellent forest growth potential. Favorable geographical location of the Bosnia and Herzegovina. For example, any country could be reached within 48 hours with products that are made from Bosnia and distributed through Europe. Next one is liberalized trade through the agreement of SIFTA. Wood processing tradition of more than 150 years. Presence in the market of Europe and USA for many years, traditionally and permanent export orientation. Increasing number of newly equipped plants, issuing of state standards for certification forests, preservation of the natural resource and environmental protection, satisfactory forest management, and relatively low operational costs. Finally, I would like to say a few words regarding this industry at the macro level. Wood industry makes 11% of the total export of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The total number of companies is 1,257 in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Total export is over 1.5 billion km in Bosnia and Herzegovina. This industry share in GDP of Bosnia and Herzegovina is 10.5%. Share of this industry in total industrial production is over 12%. Share in the processing industry is around 17%, and share of this industry in total export is over 21%. Since having these facts said, I can conclude that this business has a potential, and I'm very pleased to open up discussion with our panelists today regarding certain issues that could come up when it comes to this kind of business. These issues are related to, let's say, what we can benefit from the Europe itself, what is the best practice from the European side, what is the challenge that this industry may face with, what is possible investment that could be done in this country, and is there any influence of wood and furniture company industry to the regional economic growth? In this regard, my first choice of this discussion is the topic related to the European practice, which I would like to call Mr. Alexander Medvedovic. And let me introduce himself very briefly. Mr. Alexander Medvedovic is economist and independent investment and development strategy advisor and a partner at East Consulting in Bonn, Germany, covering a variety of industries, and he's a market advisor in ecosystems through the globe. With his huge experience, I'd like to ask him, and if he can elaborate a bit regarding the European perspective. So, what would you suggest, Mr. Medvedovic, as the best practice when it comes to wood industry, since you have a great experience from Germany and Turkey as well? Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for this introduction that I only deserve partially. But I take your kind words with humble attempt to explain and to justify your compliments. I do have a wide experience, but it doesn't include wood and furniture, which probably makes me the least qualified person for this panel. But as you have underlined, there are some other areas that I have experience with, and it's particularly geographical experience that I can bring in from two very interesting markets, from East and West. I'm a native of Germany, and I spent a large chunk of my young life in Germany, and then went on to other places, and then landed in Turkey, and I've been in Turkey for the last 20 years. So one could argue I do combine experience from East and West, which becomes increasingly important in all areas and in all facets of business, of foreign investments as well as in production and trade and mutual investments. We have heard yesterday a large amount of comments from incredibly intelligent people from Turkey, foremostly of all Professor Dr. Davutoğlu, who has a vision of how to include the Balkans in East-West strategy. And I do very much regret that we don't listen to him more frequently, because he pointed out very, very good ideas. He pointed out, first of all, how to recognize the Balkans as what they are, a strategic point between East and West. And there were a lot of other statements, particularly from Turkish potential investors, from politicians, from people who move and shake Turkish economy and Turkish economic policy. So we have to listen to them very carefully, and I've been doing for the last 20 years. And in that listening, wood and furniture has indeed played an important role. So I'm probably understating when I'm saying that I don't know anything about that industry. The second area with the expertise is, of course, Germany. Now, Germany has a very large wood forestry and woodworking industry. It's even difficult to name it properly, because it's so multifaceted. So I would like to start from one point to realize that we're dealing with very, very traditional industries in both markets that I cover, in Turkey and Germany, but now I'm focusing on Germany. We are dealing with a very traditional industry. We're dealing with a very, very much oriented industry to SMEs, to small and medium enterprises. And we all know that in Germany, the backbone of the German economy are SMEs, the so-called, if we have German speakers among us, they will immediately understand what I mean, the Mittelstand. So it is even a special terminology for the German backbone of the economy. And it's the middle-sized enterprises, very often in hands of families, of very traditional family companies, and for generations passed on to one another. And everybody knowing that if you have a German company in the hands of one family for 5-6 generations, you would know that they survived 2 world wars and difficulties. So they must be good if they have done something correctly, if they have survived 2 world wars and still manage a family business. And that would be the first point that I would like to point out. It's tradition, it's handwork, and it's very much deep expertise into what you do. that prevails in Germany, and that makes the German forestry and wood industry large. So if you ask me, probably one of the further questions would be what can Bosnia-Herzegovina companies, but also regional companies, learn from the German industry? It is tradition. It is focusing on what you do. Don't do 10 things at the same time. Add another transportation company, add a tourism company, add a hotel business to your wood business. Germans tend not to do that. They tend to focus on one area of expertise that they're good in, and that's what makes the industry strong. We have the so-called, in Germany, we have the so-called segmentation of the wood industry. One is the forest industry, where the wood comes from. Then we have the second part, which is the so-called sawing industry, the cutting industry, the transformation of the wood. And then we have the whole line of products that go into the wood usage, and one of them is of course construction, the other one is the paper and pulp industry, and so on and so on. And all of that is very, very diverse in Germany. We have market leaders, we have many, many leaders in the world that benefit from that industry. We have about 1 billion euro turnover generated in Germany from the wood industry. We have about 70,000 companies and a good million of working places depending on that industry. So we can say it's very, very strong. But compared to other industries, this is nothing. If you compare the German car industry, if you compare other machinery construction and other German traditional industries, this is a minor, very, very minor part of the German economy. So the first encouragement would be to looking at the Balkans, what can you do? Everybody wants to work with Germany. If you talk to any of the businessmen outside in the lobby, everybody wants to trade with Germany. Germany first. Then maybe with other countries, maybe with Turkey, maybe with China or Russia. But if you ask a traditional businessman from the Balkans, they all want to go to Germany, and they have good reasons. So my recommendation is look at what's there and look where you can connect. And I guess in the later part, I will be drawing the line, to the Balkans and into Turkey, and why it's so important to be where we are here in Bosnia and Herzegovina and also in the other countries of ex-Yugoslavia, and what we can offer to the German industry. But that would be my main point that I would try to say. Take a look at the real core values of the German wood industry. There's a lot to offer. One important point I would like to make at the end of my couple of minutes that I have is where you can connect. You can sell to German companies. Yes, you can. Good luck. It's a tough sale to a German company because they're looking for the best at the lowest price, as all of us do. Right. So you need good German skills probably, and convincing them that they should listen to you, a small company from Bosnia-Herzegovina, after they have listened to 10 others from Sweden or Spain or Russia or Malaysia or other countries. So you are in good company, you're in a competing company. What you could do and what a good entry strategy is for Germany is, in Germany a lot of companies are running out of business because they have nobody to run it. They have nobody to take it over. We are talking about generations that are dying.
So you're talking about family businesses,
yes,
right?
family businesses, and they don't have anybody to take it over. They might have 2 children. The further south you get, more children are being produced in families, but in Germany you have maybe 2 children, and one of them went to be a theater actor and the other one went to a totally different business, and the old father has nobody to turn the business over. There is no succession planned for many, many businesses in Germany. This is a serious problem in the German Mittelstand, in the German small and medium enterprise world. And I recommend everybody to take a look, if you are from that industry, to take a look if you can make a partnership with somebody who has a danger of not knowing what to do with his business in the next 25 years. And there you can find many more opportunities than selling. You can be a partner, you can be a strategic partner, you can produce for them certain parts. You can take over maybe parts of their production and produce here in Bosnia and Herzegovina at lower cost. And then maybe one day take over their business in amicable terms and work with them on taking it into the future. So don't think only trade when you think of Germany. Many, many opportunities to explore, and I can only encourage everybody to go deeply into it. And Germans don't know anything about Bosnia and Herzegovina. This country is never in the news. It's only in the news when something bad happens, when something happens that evokes the memories of the past. But very few parts of German media and public talk about Bosnia-Herzegovina or Serbia or Northern Macedonia as an intelligent place. We have heard this morning so many intelligent things about this country. We never talk about it in Germany because nobody is interested, nobody cares. 20 other markets to go first. So there is a large work to do on the public side of the government, of all institutions here, to get out there and tell what this country has to offer us, because Germans don't know it. A few of them do, but very, very limited. So lots of things to do for Germany.
So these issues probably could be solved at the state level, probably because this is the way we do, but also the enterprise level could do many things.
I hope the state level takes a very small role in it, because usually when they go into it, they do it wrong. That's my opinion, in many, many places. So I encourage private companies and organizations, associations, like this one, like these organizers here, go out and make your own contacts, search for contacts on Chamber of Commerce level, on industrial level. There is superb industry associations in Germany for wood industry on all different levels, more than 10 associations serving the wood industry. Go out and make your own contacts. Don't wait for your government to do it. Until they do it, you'll be done. You'll do it yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Međedović. My apology for not introducing the whole profile of yours, because I think we are a little bit limited with the time, so that's why I just made it as short as possible. But again, I apologize for that one. So the next panelist will be also related to these issues and topics. So I'd like to call Mr. Zephyr Cilic. Let me introduce himself for any start. He's the founder and CEO of Cilic company from Turkey. That company is very successful, operating in 5 continents with 444 outlets globally, with more than 2,000 employees. In 2009, he decided to invest in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and that was the first start of his company here. So I'd like to ask Mr. Cilic regarding most sustainable business in the wood industry. What business models could be applied when it comes to this sustainability? Yes, please. Thank you.
Modeller hangisi?
Teşekkür ediyorum Doktor Palasic.
Eyvallah.
Ben de herkesi selamlıyorum. Buyurun.
Greetings to all of you.
Ağaç sektörünü masaya yatırmak çok iyi fikir olduğunu düşünüyorum.
I like this idea of a round table and this topic about wood industry and exchanging the experiences.
Çünkü Bosna Hersek'te çok başarılı bir performansı var ağaç sektörünün.
I think that Bosnia and Herzegovina has a very good tradition in wood industry.
Yani bu fırsatı daha da değerlendirmek için neler yapmalıyızı konuşacağız.
So I would like to give a few ideas how to make it even better.
Çok yerinde bir sektör çünkü gerçekten istihdam dostu olan bir sektördür. Buna ihtiyacımız var.
I think this is a quite new sector, but at the same time it is very friendly and open-minded to give a chance everyone who wants to be part of this.
Tabii konuşulacak çok şey var dedik. Yani sektörün hem özgün tasarımlar yapması, markalaşması ve ihracata yönelmesi konularında.
We are going to talk about quite different things such as original designs and specialization in wood industry and of course the products.
Şu an gidişat çok güzel. Ülkemizin markalaşmış firmaları var. Fuarlara gidiyorlar ve ihracat yapıyorlar. Bu yapılan şeyi daha da çoğaltmak gerektiğini düşünüyorum.
So far the situation is quite good. We have presentations, people are exchanging experiences between each other. They come, they talk, but I think that there are so many things that we can do and make it even better.
Şu an hem komşu ülkelerimize hem Avusturya ve özellikle Almanya'ya birçok ağaç ürünlerini ihracat yapabiliriz. Zaten yapıyoruz. Bunu çok arttırabiliriz.
For example, in Turkey, as well as in Austria and Germany, there are so many different products of wood, but I think that we need new ideas, and we are facing these challenges right now.
Çünkü ağaç sektöründe geçmiş yıllara dayalı bir tecrübemiz var. Yani bu sektörü iyi biliyoruz. Eski Yugoslavya'dan kalma bir kültür ve ormanlarımız da bol ve ağaçlarımız çok kaliteli.
And the reason for this is the previous experiences that we have, for example, from former Yugoslavian countries that made some original and good products, and that we are still using it. But I think that we are facing some new changes, and we have to go upon it.
Şimdi genç nesil yeni tasarıma dikkat ediyor, özgün tasarımlar yapıyor, markalaşmaya dikkat ediyor ve en önemlisi yurt dışına fuarlara katılıyorlar. Buradan sektörün önü açılıyor, ihracat artıyor.
Especially because we have new generations. Young people are even more open-minded. They research at the internet, they find new things, and they want them for themselves. That's why we have to give even more effort to make it possible for them to buy those things in their own countries.
Yani komşu ülkelerimiz ve özellikle Almanya dedik, çok mobilya tüketiyorlar. Özellikle Almanya ve Avusturya, buralara çok mobilya satabiliriz. Ahşap ürünlerin her şeyini satabiliriz. Sandalye, masa, sehpa, ahşapla ilgili aklınıza her gelen yer parkesi, bütün bunları düşünebiliriz.
Furniture and these wood products are very important, and people in many countries, like in Germany and Turkey, of course, and Austria, people buy those things. They may be expensive, but if you have a wooden chair or table, you can always sell it. Someone will buy it even if it costs a little bit more than it's usually.
Yani bu ağaç sektörü üzerinde elbette konuşulacak çok şey var. Ancak yaptığımız yol doğru bir yol olduğunu düşünüyorum. Aynı şekilde daha çok fuarlara gidip daha büyük düşünmemiz lazım.
This practice we have done so far, and these products, I think they are good. We established a very good path from now, but I think that we can have to be even better, go abroad, go outside of our own countries and meet and talk to each other and exchange ideas so we can make a better products for everyone else.
Özellikle bu kafe ve restoranlar için masa, sandalye ve sehpalar, kaliteli lüks kafeler için bunu biz temin edebiliriz, yani bütün Avrupa'nı çalışabiliriz.
Especially in this period, we have coffee places and restaurants, and they all use these products of wood, for example, chairs or sofa. So this is a new chance for us to sell our products.
Teşekkür ederim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. But could you please state shortly what would be your suggestion for the small, medium enterprises to go globally? What would be your short advice to be successful in the global market?
Tabii bugünün küçük firması, yarının büyük firması önemli.
Of course, these today's small companies are possibly to be big in the future companies.
Uzmanlaşma en önemli konu. Bir konuda uzmanlaşmaları lazım.
First of all, you have to be expert in the field that you are working in.
Müşteri istiyor diye her şeyi yapmamalı.
Whatever your customers wants, you have to make it. You have to product.
Yaptığı işi tam yapmalı. Eğer müşteri farklı bir ürün istiyorsa o sektördeki farklı o işi yapan bir arkadaşla beraber.
If you have that product already, but your customer wants something else, then you have to have an expert working in your company so they can make what your customer wants.
Bir de elbette yani özgün tasarımlar olmalı. Taklit yaptığı zaman istediği fiyatla da satamaz. Ve taklit hoş bir şey değil. Her zaman özgün tasarım ve kaliteli ürünler yapmalı.
Of course, the price is also important. You cannot ask people to pay the price that you want. You have to establish a normal price that is acceptable for the people that are living in a certain country.
Yani en önemlisi bir alana fokuslanıp, odaklanıp, onu en iyi bir şekilde yapıp, en kaliteli, en uygun fiyata verip o konuda isim yapmak için çaba sarf etmesi gerekiyor.
Of course, there is this question about becoming a brand in a certain area. If you are not a brand, you are similar like everyone else. So you have products that someone else has. So you have to give something different that is only recognizable for your own brand, for your own company.
Bir de tabii atölyede oturup beklemeyecek, kapı kapı ürünlerini tanıtacak. Bunlar için bir de ayrıca bölgesel ve uluslararası fuarlara katılacak.
Of course, no one will come in your shop and ask if you have something to sell. You have to open yourself. You have to go and travel and offer your products also and make good commercials about your own products.
Yani son bir şey de şunu ilave edebilirim. Burada tabii fire oranları ve maliyetleri, üretimde verimlilik, malzemedeki fire oranlarını minimuma indirmesi lazım ki rekabetçi fiyat verebilsin.
Of course, it is important that you have a very quality and extremely high quality products. For example, here in Bosnia, you have high quality trees, and it's important to remain here, not to export them in other countries.
Teşekkürler.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Cilic. Thank you so much. So, we'll move to possible investment in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The first panelist that I would like to ask in this topic is Dr. Gligor Stoikov. Gligor Stoikov is expert for grants and innovation. He's working for GITS, German agency for promoting international cooperation, right? If I'm not mistaken. He has over 18 years professional experience in international development, focusing on private sector development and regional, local economic development in Bosnia and Herzegovina and other countries across the globe. Dr. Stoikov holds a PhD in technical sciences and MBA international management, combined with a project management professional certificate. He works in many different languages: English, German, Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian, and Macedonian. Dr. Stoikov, would like to ask you regarding the investment. What new investment may be made in this regard when it comes to this industry?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the nice announcement, and greetings to all present here. For me, it's an honor to be part of this panel, and I would also join the camp of Mr. Medjedovic that I'm not a wood expert, but I was working in SME support for these last years, and I always have a perspective of business development in my thoughts. So please consider my words in that perspective as well. Related to the needed investment or an investment mix the BIH wood companies should do, there are, from my point of view, 5 steps or 5 ingredients that are very necessary. First ingredient is the high quality products or portfolio of high quality products that should be based on quality design, both from visual and from technical perspective, built out of high quality materials and tailor-made to the taste of the markets. Well, I cannot specifically now discuss visual design because it could be heritage or modernized heritage, could be space design, or even some combination of wood products with technical gadgets. What is important is to stick out from the crowd, to have visually appealing but also very creative design, and to be able to pinpoint the market interest. So my advice to the companies would be, do not consider investment in design as cost, but rather as an investment that is going to propel the growth. The second ingredient of the investment mix, from my perspective, is the investment in digitalization of the operation of the companies. Now this is very attractive topic, which is also attracting significant attention in the last period. Even today we had a first panel which was focusing on the quest towards Industry 4.0. In our companies, what we need to do, or what our companies need to do, is to digitalize their management processes, digitalize their production processes, and interlink them very tightly. What we basically, this is a very important segment from my perspective. This is important segment that will bring improvement of competitiveness to the companies in incremental steps, or depending on the situation in the company, it could bring development that is going to be a propelling development, a significant development. So we need digitalized operation as a basis for educated decision making on a management level. And let's also, that would be my second idea, let's also perceive investment in digitalization as an investment that leads to growth and development, rather than as a cost that is going to limit the profitability, which is very often the case. And when talking about digitalization in particular, I consider that there is also one additional element of digitalization, or should I rather say the first element of digitalization. You could not digitalize processes that are not defined and structured. And what we can evidence in a lot of our companies here in BIH is not defined and not clear processes within the company. So we could see, for example, the digitalization as a double whammy. Not only we digitalize the processes, but for all and first we have to clearly define the processes within our company, know them, understand them, and then digitalize them. The third element from my perspective is the modern equipment. Although a lot of my colleagues would say this is the most important, I don't say this is not important. Modern equipment is very important, and a lot of companies, almost all, invest heavily in equipment. Be it CNC equipment or robotized equipment, or even equipment that allows the production of products from different materials together. These equipment, of course, will allow companies to produce new products, will increase efficiency, will enable the companies to deliver better quality, or to deliver on time. But from my perspective, this increased efficiency and productivity will only be utilized to a maximum extent if it is a support to already innovative and creative products and implement it on optimized and digitalized processes. And from third going to fourth element of the investment mix, from my perspective, the fourth element would be the well-educated and motivated workforce that is in the last years becoming a strongly limiting element to the development of the companies. We are coming out of a prolonged period of perception that the workforce, the quality workforce, be it carpenters or wood carvers or even CNC operators, we are coming out of a period that we consider there is an abundance of workforce and quality workforce. Unfortunately, what we hear from the companies, this is not more the case, and the companies now have to invest in order to develop their workforce, and to motivate it to work on a continuous and prolonged period in the same company. This is of course not something that the companies alone can solve. I think we will all agree, and I expect to hear later in the discussion, that the problem of the workforce or the human resources is not to be solved only by companies, but I would emphasize and I would urge the companies to be brave and to invest in their workforce in order to be able to build upon the quality of their workforce. And the final fifth element that I would like to stress, or the fifth ingredient, is a secret ingredient that basically each company has, and this secret ingredient is behind each company's success, and I cannot say for which company which is it, but still I'm sure that each company has it and that everybody in the company know about this secret ingredient.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this elaboration. That's very, very useful for all those who hear the hearing in this room. And I'd like to extend this discussion by calling Mr. Amir Charalic. Mr. Amir Charalic is a board member of Swedish Chamber of Commerce for Bosnia and Herzegovina from 2016 until now, and he is an executive director founder Consorcio Sarajevo from 2015 until now. In the period from 2014 to 2015, he is director of Slobodna Zona Vogošća. Probably this is a business zone, right?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Amčors was head of procurement department, Volkswagen Sarajevo, in time from 2012 and 2014. As we can see, he has a huge experience, and I believe that he can help us or extend his views regarding the these potentials, investments in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So I would like to ask Mr. Charalic, what a global market has potential regarding the wood businesses? So what would be your suggestions and recommendations to wood businesses as well?
Sorry, I will just add that I was also working as a manager in a Standard Furniture Factory, which is the biggest furniture factory in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And if I may, I would like just to comment some things which was recently said by Mr. Gligorov. I don't know how much you have experience with the Bosnian furniture industry, but the Bosnian furniture industry is one of the best in the region at this moment. We're way above both Croatian, Serbian, Macedonian, and I may say so at this moment that we are above the Slovenian furniture industry as well. And a lot of companies has already gone into the transition and become very digitalized. For example, my colleague here from Prevent, I think they're all in Navision. They have all their process or not?
I don't know if you can hear me. Just to shortly comment, no, we're not working in Navision. We actually developed our own ERP software.
Sorry, I knew that a couple of years ago. Anyway, today the Bosnian furniture industry, just for furniture, not the wood industry, the furniture industry is making last 2017 we had an export of 279 million euros just in furniture. And as Mr. Medvedev has told also, the main market is Germany. Germany is a very potential market, and that is a market which all producers look after because it's a 40 billion euro market per year in the furniture business, and that's very potential. Just a couple of months, 2 months ago, we were at the Stockholm Furniture Fair, where we gathered we met 5 of our Bosnian producers who have even gone further on with their own design, working with world famous designers producing their own designers. They've gone so far that they can be exhibitors at the Stockholm Furniture Fair, which is one of the most demanding in the world when it comes to design. And we can say that we are very proud to see how good the Bosnian furniture companies made it at that fair. They got a lot of publicity. They got a couple of awards. I will just mention a couple of them. That is Zanat from Konjic. That is Vogue from Bratunac. That is Artisan from Tešanj. And it's MS Wood from Fojnica and Gazda from Sarajevo. And these 5 companies made a huge impact because I was in the furniture industry some 7-8 years ago. And from that moment, the furniture industry has developed so much. It's, I would say, in a rapid speed. And they have gone so far that we can say that we have, when it comes to solid wood production, that Bosnia is in the top 5 when it comes to developing this in Europe, if I may say so. When it comes to the question, Mr. Pavlic, that is what a global market has potential regarding the wood business.
So you already said like
Yeah.
Germany, right? Potential.
The biggest problem will always be it's transport. Transport will always be, and logistics will always be the hugest problem when it comes to the furniture industry. That is why we, through the Swedish Chamber of Commerce, are now trying to organize a hub where we want to we would try to make an effort that the Bosnian furniture producers will gather, so we will easy up the logistics, the transport and sales for the Nordic market. And we think that is something that will be, can make a big impact, because there has to be someone that will lead the way. Unfortunately, we're working very closely also with the Foreign Chamber of Commerce of Bosnia and Herzegovina, but we still don't have the capacities of financing such projects. In the future, we hope that the government will recognize our efforts and see that that we have to have representative offices around the world which will help our producers to enter markets which have not been penetrated yet.
And thank you for your correction. It was, of course, 100 billion euros and not 1 billion euros market in Germany. And of that, you want to have 40, which is very, very good goal. Thank you.
We don't want it because it's a 40 billion euro market, the furniture industry.
Take 30, we're fine.
Yeah.
So that will be a statement from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Čorolić. The Zephyr industry.
Maybe I can jump in if you allow me.
Yes, please.
I would like to thank Mr. Čorolić for naming these 5 companies, and I'm sure we can identify not only 5, but maybe 15 or 25 companies that are high quality and that are similar to this one. But if I followed correctly the speaker, and based on my 3 years of experience here in Bosnia, there are more than 1,400 companies. So my observation was related to the general group of wood companies that we have been working on in the last years as GIZ within one program that we had for support of SME competitiveness. And we have included the majority of these 5 companies, but also different 22 companies in our program. And I think not all companies are up to this level that you have made. And I would certainly wish that some of our grant beneficiaries reach the level of Artisan or Gazda, which would be a great success to all of us.
I have to comment. We have 1,400 companies within the wood industry. Around 150 of those are in the furniture industry. That is finalized with the final product. And of course, many of those have been driven by the situation which we have in the country. What they think, the furniture industry thinks the biggest problem here is, not, especially in the Federation, is that we don't have the forestry bill going through, which makes it very, very hard for them to buy logs or buy wood from the state. And that's the biggest problem here. And we are while I have the word, I will also ask I don't have any representatives here from the government, but it would be fine if we could make some pressure on them to go through with the bill of forestry, which will make it more easy for domestic companies to get the raw material.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, both of you. As I said, every industry has challenges, and this industry too. Regarding these issues, I'd like to call Mr. Nebi Hoca to say some words of it. But before that, let me introduce Mr. Nebi Hoca. He was born in Skopje and graduated in electrical engineering. Following his graduation, he turned to his family's artisan business and designing jewelry, which was established in the year of 1965. During his time as a manager of the Smaragdkraft company, he transformed it from a local family-owned company into an international one. In 2003, he founded American College in Pristina, and it is under his ownership. It's based on the K-12 education system, American education system, created in Washington. Since 2006, he has been partnering in the Tevfik Changa wood factory, which deals with restructuring, development, production, and three factories, all in the field of furniture and interior. So there are many things to be said about Mr. Nebi, but since we do not have a lot of time, so I'd like to ask Mr. Nebi about challenges that this wood industry has currently. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Palalic. It's my pleasure to be here in front and together with a lot of experts in this industry. As you mentioned, one of my duties now that I do is I'm representing the Chamber of Commerce of Northwest Macedonia, which is established in 2005. So from that time, now we have more than 1,800 companies in 10 sectors. And one of the sectors that is today for debate is the industrial production, actually the wood and furniture production. As you mentioned, except other businesses, I represent also the factory in Kosovo and Macedonia, which is Tevfik Changa, one of the factories. The other one is Divani, and the third one is Deco. Except this, we have a company that is implementing all these products to tailor-made design for different interiors. And thanks God, we are working very well in Europe and abroad with this company. But to achieve this goal, for sure, is not so easy. We are, in the Balkans, and the mentality and to protect the products is very, very difficult when you consider that in our region, a lot of products we import from other countries, from Asia and abroad, and the problem is that most of them, they reduce the prices when they import and they pay low taxes. So in this case, for the producers, it's very hard to keep the cost and the price to be concurrent in the market. Other things that are problem for our business in the region is that the competition from the small companies that they are, let's say, they work in the garages or the small offices, that they copy the models and they don't pay the taxes, and they make the concurrence in the minimum price. This is one of the challenges. The other problem is that we don't have qualified workforce because we teach them, we train them, and as yesterday the politicians explained, only Germany for last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, are about 35% of immigrants from Balkans. So try to imagine, we produce working force, we train them, And after we pay all expenses for them, they went abroad, not in Germany, but generally in Europe. Other thing is also the season in our market is, for example, we have 2 seasons. Summer season where we need triple our products than the other period that is low season, and for that period we need to make a lot of stock, and for that reason we need to make a number of employers movable to achieve this goal. We had, for our production, we had a lot of lacks. For example, to achieve, to arrive to the good quality of products for export, we had from the government, we have a lot of experts from Europe community to see where the products have mistakes and where the lines of the production have the gaps to arrive at better production and to have a better price. Other thing that we did in our manufactory is that we had 2 lines for 2 different types of qualities, from simplest to more sophisticated. Now we did 5 lines just to go all at one time to have more fast production and to have a better presence in the market. This is some of our idea, and other things that we need to do in our situation is that we need more educated people. We need people to stay here just to have better results, to produce and to have our products not only in our market, but to have our products in Europe and other countries abroad.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Nebi Hoca. That was wonderful. The same topic I'd like to call Mr. Zlatan Faik Uzunovic, Managing Director, Prevent Interior, Prevent Group, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Let me say a few words about Mr. Zlatan Faik Uzunovic. He's a Managing Director of one of the companies within the Prevent Group Furniture Division. He has been with Prevent for 8 years, and his professional experience includes quality, purchasing and supply chain in the automotive and furniture industries. Mr. Uzunovic has also participated in numerous projects through the Hasser Foundation, most notably the organization of the first industry organized education program called the TACT Academy. Mr. Uzunovic is the holder of a MSc degree in operations management from the Dokuz Eylül University, and is currently responsible for Prevent Interior, a company producing upholstered furniture dealing with customers such as IKEA, Otto, Amazon, and Starbucks. I'd like to ask Mr. Uzunovic one question, which could be one of the challenges. Let's say if we rely on import when it comes to raw materials, is wood industry in Bosnia and Herzegovina strong enough to know how to overcome this challenge? So, if we import the things that we do not prefabricate, is it possible for the current businesses, they have experts, to overcome this kind of challenge? So, do we need to import know-how, or we are still having ability to overcome this challenge when it comes to technical knowledge? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for the introduction. I'd like to extend my greetings to all of you and also thank my colleagues, panelists, who've made some really, really good points in their presentations, from the fact that we should focus on what is our core business, to the fact that we should focus on design, as Mr. Cilic said, to the fact that we should focus on operations and also on improving our productions. Before I answer your question, I just have to apologize in advance. I'm going to disrupt the panel a little bit due to the fact that I would like to say that There is no pre-requirement for the furniture industry to be exclusively linked to wood. I think that two of the panelists have apologized that they're not really into wood industry that much, but let me demonstrate to you. We look at the two armchairs that you have on the stage over there. The first thing that you're going to notice about these armchairs is not the wood. It's the textile, it's the leather, and it's the stitching that you will notice, and this is what gives furniture, especially upholstered furniture, its quality. Prevent Interior, where I come from, is one of the newer companies in Bosnia when furniture is concerned. And the reason that Prevent as a group, which is the biggest private business system in Bosnia, has gone in the direction of furniture is exactly what I explained right now. We are experts in materials and we are experts in sewing. And that is why we focused on our core business and went into furniture. On the other hand, you've mentioned the list of customers that we are dealing with. Our strategy is basically focused on becoming a big supplier for IKEA, which is the biggest furniture retailer in the world here in Bosnia. We are the third ones to do so. And on the other hand, online. Now, to come back to your question, I don't think you could have posed the question to a better person. When we're talking about furniture, especially upholstered furniture, we're not talking only about wood. There are a lot of materials that, whether we want to or we don't want to, all of us producers in Bosnia have to rely on imports. I'll give you just a few examples from my company. Plywood and particle board, we are importing from Belarus. Foam, we are importing from Hungary. Vinyl, we are importing from China. Okay, the textiles and the leather we produce ourselves, but the other furniture producers are heavily dependent on imports of textiles and leather, whether it be from Turkey or from some other country. Is that a constraint in terms of developing the furniture industry? I do not believe so. This is the modern times. Cross-country trade is very open. The customs fees and limitations towards trade across borders are being lowered. So that in itself is not a constraint. What will be the constraint is the direction in which the furniture industry is moving. We, at least at Prevent, believe that the future of furniture is not in retail, it's in online sales. Here's an interesting fact for you. The second biggest retailer of furniture in Germany, when we're talking about online, is not one of the old known platforms. It's actually Amazon. Amazon is the second biggest retailer of furniture in the online sales in Germany. And we just said it's 40 billion euros big. So in order to adapt to this new situation, all of the companies will of course have to get more digitalized, will have to improve their operations. But the key concept for success will be lead time. So the time that passes between an order placed and a product delivered. The only way to shorten these lead times is to have the supplier base, the material base, close to your manufacturing operations. And that is why if any field in the furniture industry requires investments, massive investments in the coming period, it's exactly this field of sub-material supply. So I'm not talking about cutting the wood from the forests. I'm talking about creating MDF plates, which we are still importing from Hungary, from Poland, from Germany. I'm not talking about, again, simply wood. I'm talking about starting production of metal structures, which will be the future. This is what we do not have in Bosnia. So there's a whole range of sub-material supply that all of the furniture producers in Bosnia use. And going forward, keeping in mind the importance of shortening the lead times, this will be a major challenge, and this is where future investments, in my opinion, need to be directed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Uzunovic. We're left with another very similar questions regarding the challenges, and for that one I'd like to call Mr. Zoran Vukovic. And Mr. Zoran Vukovic is a mechanical engineer, expert in the wood industry. He's working in an institution for vocational adult education, and founder and CEO of that education. Expert in wood industry with 18 years of practical experience in developing quality, technical, technology, prototyping, HR, and products in SMEs. In past 14 years, he initiated, participated, and implemented several local, regional, and international projects in consulting and practical adult education in wood, metal, ICT, 3D modeling, CAD, CAM, and CNC machine, and related sectors such as tourism, local development, and internal sectoral, cross-sector cooperation. Mr. Vukovic, I'd like to extend the questions regarding the challenges that may occur in this country. So what is the situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina regarding the quality of expertise of the workforce?
Okay, first of all, thank you for very nice introducing. Thank you to organizer to call me on this session. I'm proud to be here with all these people that from this sector. I can be honored to be here, and it's very good that maybe I have a privilege to be in the end to hear that other people what they have to say, because for 18 years now that I'm working practically in the wood industry, and that we are developing different kind of projects in wood industry in Bosnia and Herzegovina, I can say that we are really on good track, and that whatever you say from panelists from before, actually we are proud to say that for all these issues that we are having in wood industry and upholstery and all other furniture, different kind of stories, that we have some solutions that they are working in the practice. Some of them I will explain during this 5 minutes that I have here. And of course, if later on, if somebody has some questions or something about it, I'm open to do it. I will come to your question as well. And in one part of this, like you said, the issue about the workforce and struggling between the workforce that they are saying they are not satisfied in our companies from the one side, and from the other side, that the companies, they are afraid to invest in the people, and they are, when they're investing in the people, some of them, they are leaving, and there's, let's say, so-called chaos in that sector. I'm working in this field for years, and I can say that there is a solution for that. Actually, one of the things that I can stress to this, what Mr. Stoikov from GIZ said, for these 5 things, I don't want to say them again, but one of the things is that digitalization in the process of production, a new approach in our companies, can work on an optimization of process of production. Like Mr. Uzunovic said, this lead time, if we are making better production and optimization inside of the production, technical view, and all other things with a new machine and this approach that it can be better inside of the company, there is a lot of space in the money that it's left inside of the company that they can invest in new machines, in new technology, and raise up the salaries of the people inside of the company. You will hear in the inside of the, and we made with one German company, Innotec, actually we've been support like VMTA and B&H. Recently we have one test on 4 companies here, and GIZ support this pilot project. We hope they will, in recent future, we will develop to other wood companies and other sectors like metal and so on. It's e-learning training. Actually, you are making middle management training for the existing people inside of your company and developing together with them some points in your company to shorten the lead time and to do very good optimization of process of production and develop the products. With this, I can say we had 4 companies from different areas, and in the same time we made very good results. Just for one side, I won't mention the companies, but just imagine that you have big company, 350 people. In just one sector of 12 of their sectors, they are, with some small changes in 28 days with their people, with our support, they can have clearly 37,000 kms left. Just one sector, one part of the sector. And it's realistic, it's possible. And you can hear in the news that people are leaving in Germany or somewhere else just because of different kind of things, but main thing it's salary and something what they don't have here. Like I said, there is possibility when you develop education of your people, of new education inside of people, and to little bit the government to work on it to support the company, not just to struggle by themselves or just to go to different kind of projects, to be there to support the companies to invest together in workforce and with law contracts that you can have with your employees if you want to invest them. I know a lot of companies who want to invest in and they don't spare money, but there's no law if somebody wants to leave after 1 year, what to do with them if they are leaving. There's no any contract in Bosnia and Herzegovina that you can sign with somebody that he is agreeing that he will stay there for 3 years. If you're saying that, a lot of people say you are insane. And that's the thing that all together had to work on it, like a workforce in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But there is a future, like I said. Another thing, like I said, it's optimization. And this what we used, like somebody said, that there is a generation change and there is a lack of the people in production and in the technical field. For example, we developed a so-called online technical department that for local companies and companies abroad, we're already working on that more than 1 year, 2 years actually, with a few German companies to, from a 3D design of the furniture until the technical solutions, normatives and everything inside, and with the prototyping of this product, we can develop together with them something for the specific market. That means that if you use a software, if you use a support like this, I forgot to say that not just me in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the region, VMTA has 78 experts in wood and metal industry, that they are like long-lasting people from the practice, and they can be very good support for the companies and developing of this human resource products, software developing and so on. But the key answer in this place, it's like I said, education of the people and working together, that in some solutions what we don't have possibility to do, to try to do cooperation on digitalization and online platforms that we can use, like for education, like I mentioned, this modeling. And like I said, the developing of new products. You mentioned all these companies we know. They are very nice companies, and they have the biggest prizes over the years in the biggest fairs. The main problem of these companies is usually they don't have capacity. If you want to buy, for example, in all of these companies, 50 tables per month, it's not possible to make it. That means that we have to make optimization between quality and quantity, because we are that kind of country that we are not a country that we can make millions and millions elements. But of course, we can't live from just a few parts of best design products. We have to make something in between. IKEA, maybe it's a good example for that, because they are making the so-called middle-high level quality standard for the price that is accessible for a market. So far, maybe I can say that companies in the Bosnia-Herzegovina who are working the same things, and with this sentence I will be close to the end, they have to work more together on the clusters or working together more. Because sometimes you have companies that they can work on the parts of the elements. There are some companies who can make, who can work together, but I think the most problem of this part is bad communication. Even the people in Bosnia-Herzegovina are saying that we are very good in communication, we are talking very nice, we are nice hosts. Yes, we are. But in communication, the job, we should be better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vukovic. Thank you very much for all of you. Let me sum up all the thoughts that we had today. We discussed different issues when it comes to this wood and furniture industry. The reality of this industry is maybe, I would say, different, depends what perspective you're looking for. But the points, what I want to derive from this discussion is this. There is a potential in this industry. However, we have a lack of workforce. Regarding that, we have companies that they do not want to invest in the workforce. They do not want to invest the production processes to digitalize, maybe make it automatic processes. Other things we need to do is what Mr. Cilic stressed, is to make something a very differentiated, superior value that will make a brand of this product, and that could be sold out, as Mr. Chorov said, and Mr. Medjedovic, in Germany, in the global market, but not quantity, but quality, right? The other thing, what I see here between lines is that people or companies, sometimes they look at the investment in workforce like a cost. That is not true. In return, if you have qualified workforce, that will bring you a value that you're looking for, and you will probably the customer needs and wants will be satisfied. Unfortunately, we did not have anybody from the government that we can raise issues here when it comes to certain things like Mr. Nebi, he said, like informal or gray economy. We have a lot of people that they are doing jobs without paying any taxes. While others, they do, and they sacrifice all the time that they had in money. So we are not fortunate to have anybody from the government we can raise these issues. Yes, please, Mr.
Well, if we would have anybody from the government, I would start the conversation of offering my condolences for letting a company like Krivaya, Rahmetli, die. When I was born, Krivaya was doing business all around the world. They had an office in New York, they had an office in Baghdad, in many places. So that would be the first question I would ask them. There was an incredibly good documentary on not to advertise on for any particular, on the Balkanese documentation, Al Jazeera channel, about Krivaya. And that is shocking. That is absolutely shocking how wrong you can go. So that would be the first question I would ask them, you know,
Right.
Why they have a giant carrying the economy of a whole region, if not of a whole country sometimes. You know. That would be but there would be many more condolences to offer in the region, so let me not start. Each country has its share of dying or died giants like that.
Right.
That would be one thing.
Right. Right. So all in all, we need to develop products that will be very unique, and we need to integrate ourselves to work together, make a network, make a global hub where we can place our products, what we do here in Bosnia. Also, there is possibility for foreign investors to invest in this country because there is potential here, and there is no doubt. If you do not have any other comments, yes, please, Mr. Charles.
Another comment here, while we have these financial institutions here, while I was working in the furniture industry, there was always a big problem with the finance. You know, the furniture industry in Bosnia and Herzegovina has reached a very high level towards the skills of the factories, the people, the engineers, but in a specific region, in a specific sector, and that is solid wood. But solid wood is the main problem here in Bosnia. It's capital demanding, and that's the biggest problem, because working with solid wood means that you will frozen your assets for a long time. And that is where the producers, for sure, would like to have a more understanding from the state. That is a subventional program, maybe a more grace period in the paying for the raw material, and that's something that for sure the state have to work on to help the producers develop themselves even more and to scale up. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please, Zunovic. Mr. Zunovic.
Just shortly, because we seem to be talking about a lot of problems, I'd just like to remind everybody that the furniture industry is the only industry in Bosnia that has a trade surplus with the EU and is growing on average 20% per year. So despite all of these issues, the potential is here. We are fighting, and I think that with what we talked about, investments into people, material bases, it could be one of the industries that will be taking this country forward in the coming years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zunovic. Yes, please, Mr. Nebi.
I would like to add something because there is nobody from the institutions here. One message, because to be the producers is really very hard. And we as a chamber, we protect producers and businesses, but to be a producer, it means that you create job, you create perspective for the country, and this is something that the governments has to think more carefully about protection and promoting the producers in our countries. This is my message. You can transmit me.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
The sound will be heard from this, I think, because there is nobody from the government. How lucky is Bosnia to have people like this young man here? He's half my age, I think. Working for a company that he's working for without the wish to advertise any company, because every company, every business is great for the economy. But actually, I think there needs to be a reset of the business strategy of this industry and of the size industry, because you have a lot of success stories. Bosnia has a lot of success stories. The investors are incredibly happy. If you ask people at Manfilter, they're very, very happy with their location. And what is great in Bosnia is that companies, industrial bases, are being built around Sarajevo and not only in Sarajevo. When you look, all the economy is in Paris, and all the economy is centered around big cities in Western Europe. You don't have that here. You have Gorazde, you have Trešanj, you have Bihać, you have other places where things are happening. So I think this country has, and the economy has, a lot of success stories to tell. Just looking forward would be great. And one thing that he said is very, very correct. There are lots of side industries. The whole in Turkey in particular, and Mr. Cilic is the prime example for that, the furniture industry is pulling the textile industry very much with it, and many, many others, machinery. So it's an incredible chance that this country has. I hope it will be used. I'm looking at the glass way half fuller than half emptier on that.
Well, I would like to add something and share with you because I've done one field research and I was fortunate that was the furniture industry in the Grodachas. So they are very happy they're exporting, but the main problem for them is qualified workforce, right? So there are no people that they can that will support their products production. That's the problem. They are looking for people, but you know the region is really lacking on. So that may happen to this region and to the whole ex-Yugoslavia region, the Balkan, the whole one. So we see Germany as a big hole that that swallow everything over there. But so that's why we need government, to be integrated in those activities because economic development cannot happen without government support, right? We have a few minutes, so I'd like to, if our audience would like to ask something, to share something, comment something, they are more than welcome. So if you have any questions, any comments, that would be wonderful. Yes, please.
So good afternoon. So would like to. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay. So I would like to greet you on behalf of the BBI Bank, which is one of the main organizers of this conference, and to thank you for organizing this roundtable. So. And participating in that. So as bankers, we heard a lot of interesting things because in our portfolio, we are considerably, let's say, exposed also to wood or wood processing industries. So Standard Furniture Factory is one of our main clients. So just not to repeat what you have said because I'm an amateur, we are not in this industry, but what we can see as a banker and in wood processing industry is like in any other industry. There are two main components, let's say, which are crucial, which is technology and people. I mean, in any industry, apart from raw materials, economic environment, etc., etc. So regarding the technology, so what we have seen with some of our clients, not big clients like Standard Furniture Factory, which is also actually privatized the previous state-owned furniture factory, and you have also got some real estate and assets you got with this company. What we have recognized with some of other clients of ours is they invest in building let's say, the factories more maybe than investing in technologies. So this is what we see that the government should help about. Let's say, I think that the wood processing industry is a strategic industry for the government. So if something is strategic, you have to care about it. So instead of maybe investing in these factories and fixed assets, so maybe the government can increase the number of these industrial zones which they can offer for free or very cheap price to domestic but also international investors as an incentive for them, while at the same time we as the bankers, I mean in the banking market you can find very cheap price. So cheap price for the financings is really, this is the best time to take financing. So, and to invest into technologies. So this is where the government should really intervene. On the other side, it's about the people who leave the country. As you said, I think you were who said that, that the employers are hesitating with investing in the people because they might leave. Because we see Germany as both as a challenge and threat at the same time, to be honest. I mean, but it is a vicious cycle then. So what we could see also from our clients, that they got that they're stuck in the problems with their businesses because of the lack of the qualified people. But it was the history of very low salaries of these people, you know. And people were fed up at some time of their life and said, okay, we should leave now. So also I think that the government should intervene here. If something is really strategic, as it is wood processing industry, then they should subsidize or to decrease or to do whatever to help those who have these, let's say, official businesses, big producers, to help them to give them incentives for these people to stay here. I mean, if we hesitate about investing into people, so we don't have a long-term strategy of sustainability of the business or on the country in general. So that is why it's really pity that we don't have the government representatives here, because the big role is on them in this field. So as a banker, so we can also, bankers, we can say that, really, I have to repeat, this is the best time to take the cheap financings, especially for big clients who can negotiate. They have this negotiating power, and to invest into technologies. So in order not to repeat, because as I said, we are amateurs in this business, but we have also observed some problems, I mean, from the bank.
I'm sorry, we need to. So thank you very much for everything. I'd like to extend my thanks and gratitudes to panelists that we had today and audience who were listening to us. Thank you so much. All right.
Well, panelists, and of course for our moderator, Professor Dr. Palalic. Thank you for this enlightening discussion. We're looking forward to continue with our program. But before all the content that is following, we have great ending of this one. I would now invite Mr. Emir Cehajic, who is board member of BBI Bank, to join me on the stage, as well as Mr. Nebi Hoxha, President of Economic Chamber of Northwest Macedonia, North Macedonia, one of our panelists, to join me on the stage to realize this exciting ending of the second round table of 10th Sarajevo Business Forum. Now we're gonna sign Memorandum of Understanding between these two institutions. So please welcome these gentlemen. Dobar dan. Dobar dan. Just a little bit. We have the whole procedure here for this exciting moment. Actually, this is the first memo of understanding that we're going to sign today. The other one is expecting us right before our third round table. Mr. Palalic, I need you here so we can do photo call at the end of the signing. Mr. Cehajic and Mr. Hoxha. I guess you're very exciting. This is nice cooperation. Nice furniture. You need something to sign. Yeah, we'll bring it, don't worry. Here it is, our great staff is bringing. Please give them a bit of support. This is our first official cooperation for today. Economic Chamber of Northwest Macedonia, North Macedonia, and BBI Bank, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Read it carefully. Bravo. Congratulations. Please shake your hands so we have memories. Congratulations on this newly cooperation. I hope it's going to be fruitful for both BBI Bank and Economic Chamber of Northwest Macedonia, North Macedonia. Congratulations, gentlemen. Bravo. Our first Memorandum of Understanding for the second day of the 10th Sarajevo Business Forum. Dear panelists, don't leave me, please. I need you here on the stage so we can make photo call. That is why I asked Mr. Palalic to stay with me. All panelists, we're waiting for you. Do me a favor and join me on the stage so we can make a photo. After this photo call, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna make pause. Use this opportunity of networking breaks to visit our B2B rooms. You're all very welcome to make new business connections, to make new strong business partners. We also invite you to visit our sponsor stands in the exhibit room, and of course, we will continue with company presentations in the presentations room. So, plenty content for everybody. And we will continue with the program in this conference hall at 3:30. So, see you at 3:30. In this conference hall, we will continue with Swiss hotel presentation. Then we're going to have Turkish Airlines presentation, and then we'll proceed with another signing of memo of understanding and our third round table discussion. Thank you. Enjoy the break and make connections.